Right. There we go. Okay, so a recent study shows that in a conversation, 55% of the information that's passed along is nonverbal. 38% of the information you gain from that conversation will be from tone alone, and 7% will be from words. So that means that listening requires your eyes, your ears, and your mind. So after looking at some research from the University of Charlotte and some other information, I'm going to talk to you today about listening. So my wife probably thinks it's funny that I'm talking about listening. She may not think I'm the best of listeners, but I have some great information that I'm going to share with you. So, the purpose of this speech is to inform you about the intricacies of effective listening. We're going to talk about listening as it's broken down into 3 elements: attention, attitude, and adjustment. We're going to talk about barriers to effective learning, which are anticipating, judging, and reacting emotionally. And we're going to talk about strategies for effective listening. So, first, the 3 elements of effective listening are paying attention, having a good attitude, and adjustment. So while paying attention, it requires a physical effort. It requires you to be engaged. While a professor at MIT proved recently that multitasking is impossible. For the most part, humans can't do it. A lot of people think they can multitask, but really what your brain does is shift very quickly back and forth between different tasks. So paying good attention means not straying to other distractions, but focusing on what the speaker has to say. Disregarding external stimuli or understanding that external stimuli are present can be very important to continue to pay attention. Having a good attitude will help you pay attention. It will help you pay better attention. And it's really important to have a good attitude and not have a negative attitude, as that can lead you to prejudging your speaker or some of the information that your speaker has, and in turn you could not internalize the information that's given to you. Finally, the level of agreement that you have with a speaker and their main points should come after the speech is made and after the main points are brought to the surface. That gives you an opportunity to look at all of the information presented and give a fair opinion. So now let's talk about adjustment. So speakers don't always say what you're expecting them to say. Sometimes in comedy routines or educational speeches, the speaker will go through a detour of language to end up at a point that you don't expect. And sometimes that can be fun, entertaining, or educational. So let's talk about barriers to effective listening now. Anticipating what your speaker is going to say can be a big barrier to effective listening. Assuming the speaker's main points can shift your mind to thinking about what's being said or what's going to be said, and in turn you'll lose focus on what's actually being said by the speaker. Judging the speaker can sometimes get in the way of effective listening. Sometimes speakers may make a gaffe or they may mispronounce a word, and that can lead you to question their intellect or question the validity of their points. It's important to refrain from making those judgments until after all points are made and judge them on the information presented. Finally, physical appearance. Sometimes the physical appearance of a speaker or the way that they move their body can be distracting, can lead you to judge them based not on the merits of their speech, but on their physical characteristics. So those can be barriers to effective speaking. The last barrier to effective listening is reacting emotionally. Sometimes when discussing typical politics and religion and other controversial topics, we can have emotions come up in us that can lead us to pass judgment on somebody before information is presented. And it's important to consider that disagreement doesn't always have to lead to anger. We can peacefully disagree about information after it's presented as well. So finally, we're going to talk about strategies to enhance effective learning. Keeping an open mind allows you to accept new information. It allows you to monitor your own emotions, and after information is presented, you can develop an opinion based off of the facts presented and your own knowledge as opposed to emotions or other things. The second strategy for enhancing effective learning is identifying distractions. If you're aware of the distractions around you, you can eliminate those or keep in mind what's important and focus on the listener and the information at hand. And finally, coming prepared when possible. If you're in an educational setting, reading materials before a lecture, or if you're in a professional setting, understanding the agenda before an important meeting can help you dive deeper into the material that you're covering and understand and engage in a higher level. So, to recap, effective listening can be broken down into 3 different segments: attention, attitude, and adjustment. There are many barriers to effective listening, which we've discussed, is anticipating, judging, and reacting emotionally. And finally, I've given you some strategies to enhance effective listening. So, I'll leave you with this. The Dalai Lama once said that talking is repeating what you already know, but listening can teach you something new. So, thank you for listening.